we have a guest joining us. It is Sonu Sood. We are amid a deadlier wave this year, but the one thing hasn't changed, and that is how Sonu Sood continues to help out people. Sonu, thank you for speaking to Republic yet again. I'm looking forward to this chat. But before we start talking on all the work that you're doing now, let's show our viewers a glimpse of how you're helping during the second wave.
Actor Sonu Sood has emerged as a beacon of hope for lakhs during the pandemic. Sonu Sood's journey began last year when he arranged transport for migrants to return home when all other means shut down. The actor also launched the Pravasi Rojgar app to help workers find job opportunities across various sectors. He was conferred with the prestigious Special Humanitarian Action Award by the United Nations for his philanthropic services. Continuing his philanthropic efforts, Sonu Sood is providing oxygen concentrators and airlifted a COVID patient for special treatment. In his bid to support rural India, Sonu Sood is now setting up 2 new oxygen plants in Andhra Pradesh. From playing heroic roles on the silver screen to being a hero in real life, Sonu Sood's humanitarian efforts have helped millions in the country during such grim times. Bureau Report, Republic TV.
Sonu, so I straight away want to understand from you that it started more or less last year when the issues for migrant workers had happened and you started helping them out, and then you helped people out so much that people started reaching to you from every corner. But this year in the second wave, the challenges have been different. Explain to us how that is.
Yes, Yusha, this year, the numbers were more. In the first wave, it was only about migrants and their job and the healthcare. So I connected with millions of people, trying to give them education or supporting them in their employment or healthcare. But when the second wave hit, it's not just about the migrants, it's about the rich and famous, the middle class people. So they were running for oxygen, for hospital beds, for ICUs, for ventilators, for medicines. So everyone started reaching out. So the demand for all these things multiplied manifolds because they thought, I can only reach out to the right people to make things happen. So I think it was a huge challenge for me also, and people were losing lives. So it was not that you can ask them to wait for a day or two and then you'll get back to them. It's about every minute that counts. People are waiting in an ambulance or without an ambulance or without an oxygen cylinder in front of the hospital. So I think that was very challenging, very stressful also, because you know that you have to save a life and it continues.
But, Sonu, like you said, that last year when you had started out, and of course mobilizing things on the ground was new and difficult, but over a period of this time, there is also more familiarity, a greater network that you've built in that time. But then this year, the needs are different. Greater need for oxygen support, medicines, moving patients around, and how you've actually helped airlift a patient. So how are you now helping with mobilizing this kind of support?
I'm learning every single day, Suesha. All these millions of people whom I connected in the first way became my volunteers in some part of the country, in the interiors where the reach is not there. I used to call them for an oxygen cylinder. I said, boss, just pick up a scooter, put an oxygen cylinder, and you have to go 60, 70 kilometers and deliver it to a needy and save a life. So I had I would say the strength was more this time, but the need also multiplied because the sources were not there. Even if you have people to deliver an oxygen cylinder, you need that oxygen cylinder. Even if you have those oxygen cylinders, you need oxygen in those cylinders. So, and if the bed is not there and all the beds in a hospital are occupied, so there's no way you can arrange a bed. So the network had to be a 24/7 thing live. that a bed has to be arranged in Delhi, Ghaziabad, or NCR, or UP, Bangalore, whichever. So you just need to put those patients in right priorities to save a life. So I feel there was more of a homework that I needed for this particular thing, because lives mattered in this particular way.
Sonu, from the time you started last year, and obviously at that time, mobilizing things were a little more difficult, but in this time, you have also been able to build a network. Having said that, you said the challenges are different. Now it is about helping with hospital beds, oxygen support, critical medication. How are you helping this time around, and how difficult is it to make all this happen?
It's very difficult because the demand and supply ratio doesn't match anywhere. The demand is in a huge number and the supply is not there. If a patient gets admitted in a hospital, and if he gets into an ICU thing, so there's no way that anyone can get him out of an ICU and he can get a bed. So yeah, the challenge is more, but you have to plan accordingly to move those patients. I remember there was a peak time of those 4 5 Delhi when there was nothing available. So we moved many patients from Delhi to Patiala, to Chandigarh, to Haryana, in Karnal, and in Jalandhar also, because it took 4 5 hours to drive. But at least you know that you're going to get a bed in 4 5 hours. So you need to make those calls. You have to convince those families to move because they said no, so we'll wait. And by the time, if they wait for long, so the condition can worsen. So I used to convince them whole night, let's travel, let's save a life. So a lot of people were treated in different states nearby. And yes, the challenge is more in the middle of night. I used to be on the video call with the attendants of the hospital, with the managers who used to do admissions, with the doctors, with the MDs of the hospitals, that I need a bed and these are urgent cases. And the bigger challenge is because all these people who have connected with me, they somehow feel assured that, yeah, we have got in touch with Sonu and he'll make sure he gets a bed or an oxygen or whatever they need. So that assurance gives a sense of responsibility on my shoulder. In fact, a different kind of responsibility that I have to make it happen because they don't have any other way to make this happen.